Welcome to Millennium County Railroad. I'm your host, Jim Tedesco. Actually, I'm the engineer and conductor. And I got a treat today. We got our trains running, at least our passenger train. Let me swing you around here. You can see it go around. We'll be coming out of the tunnel any minute now. There's our FA7 with 4 passenger cars. The sight to see. It's always good to have trains that run. So, I'm back in action a little bit. Still a little weak and recovering from the heart failure that I had, but I'm getting better. And it took some time, and it took me a while, but I changed out the couplings on those passenger cars and on the engine, and I no longer have a uncoupling problem. Let's get some little horn action here, huh? Yeah, I can't beat that. Alright, I'm going to stop them for a minute here in a minute. We'll continue on with the video. It's good to see the trains run. There we go. We're going to go ahead and shut them down so they can hear a little better, because I don't know how much that goes over my voice. But anyway, so what I did was, and that's the whole purpose of this video, and you know, Wilmer on the video, the live stream on Friday that Cousin Vinny was doing, I informed Vinny that I went ahead and used Yankee Dabbler, thanks to him, to buy couplings. So what I did is I bought Katie number 118 couplings. And the reason I went with 118s, because they're known to have a better connect than some of the other couplings that Katie makes. Because Wilmer asked me, he says, why did you buy the 118s? Well, I did some research and, you know, did a little bit of Googling there. And I found out that the 118s solve problems of unwanted uncoupling. So I went ahead and I bought a bulk pack. Yeah, they weren't cheap, but you know, $40-some, but it was worth it for 25 pairs. I'm going to have to buy a second pack because I think I'm going to convert all my cars and engines to the 118s. They work great on the passenger rail. I mean, so I figured, well, they're gonna work good on the freight rail too. Now I've started doing some of the engines. I don't know if you can see them here or not. Maybe those two there, and there's one behind me. Now, as much as I like ScaleTrains.com, and they make a damn good engine, but their couplers are terrible. I bought an AC 4400, I think it is, BNSF. And the problem I had with it is one of the couplers simply will not couple to the other cars. I looked at it, it's a plastic coupler. I wish Scale Trains would use KDs, preferably the 118s, on all their equipment. That would be great. So I have to maybe suggest that to them. I don't know if they'll listen or not, but that's the only shortcoming I really see with the Scale Trains. And unfortunately, as David from Crooked River has shown us, when he had to rebuild the trucks and wheel sets on a ScaleTrains.com engine, and it's very complicated. And I'll tell you, their engines are well built, but they're a little complex compared to the other brands. And just changing out the couplers on them was kind of an ordeal. And of course, part of it is because, you know, I'm not 100% yet, and I still have one bad eye. You know, I had cataract surgery. They did this one here, and then I had the heart attack. I'm still waiting to get the left eye done. So if you can imagine having perfect vision in one eye and terrible vision in the other, that's me. Makes things a little difficult to do, especially when you're working with little stuff. But it's very difficult to change out the couplers on a scaletrains.com engine. Just the way it is. Now there are other rail cars now, no problem, because like I've got their box cars and a couple of tankers, and I just ordered a couple of covered hoppers from them as well. So I'm gonna change on everything. I'm gonna change everything over to the KD 118s. I don't know how many of you guys have had experience with that particular coupler, but if you did, you probably had really good luck with it because they simply don't come apart until you want them to. So running the passenger rail that I've got going at a passenger train, I've had no uncoupling issues since I changed over. So to me, it was money well spent. So if that helps anybody, that's great. So if you're having uncoupling issues or keeping your couplers coupled, try the KD 118s. It's the way to go, trust me. Even if you don't have, because it's part of the problem, of course, in my track, obviously, isn't as level as it should be. Even though I did my utmost to try and make it so, but because I've got elevations and all, it's difficult to get. I don't have a lot of room. If I had a room 3 times this size, elevation wouldn't be an issue. But when you have a small room and short transitions from one level to the next, you're going to have some track issues. Well, the 118 solve that. So I just wanted to put that word out there. So living, breathing proof that it does work. So there may be other ones that work just as well. I don't know. I have no experience with them. This is the first time I've actually did a coupler change out, and I'm very happy with my decision because I was looking for ways to solve the issue, and I even went over, in England they have a different coupling system. I tried theirs. I wasted $20, and it didn't work anyway. So I should have went with the KDs first, but hey, look, I'm about as experienced as everybody else out there. We're all beginners in this to some degree. Even though I've been messing with it for 10 years. I still consider myself an amateur. But anyway, so that was the main thing of this video, is to point out the coupler problem. And I did actually solve it. So my coupler heights are they're pretty stable. I mean, they're all pretty much the same. There might be a tiny, like a thousandth of an inch difference between one or the other, but basically they all line up. So that's important too. If you have a coupler that's up here and a coupler that's down here, you're going to have problems. But as long as they're pretty close together, the 118s will solve it. Let's see what else. Well, got my new hat. Finally went out and bought one. I've been talking about getting one forever, and I finally said, you know what, I'm just going to buy one. So I did. I love it. So I guess you can't be an engineer without an engineer's hat, right? I'm still working on a logo for my my layout. This is Millennium County. I'm kind of blocked on it. I'm not sure what I want to do. I want to do something a little different. But when I do, I'm going to start printing t-shirts, and they'll either give them away or sell them. I'm not sure which yet. Maybe both. Because then everybody's doing the t-shirt thing now, which is really cool. And I got to get my hands on some of them, especially Wilmer. Yeah, man, I love that guy. But so anyway, that's the plan. That's probably down the road a ways yet. I still have a long way to go. I'm currently working on the pass-through for the freight rails. I've had to do some little bit different because I wanted to go up instead of, swing up instead of swing down, because I had so many problems in the past with pass-throughs that swung down. And it actually looks like it would be more, I'm not sure what the word is for it, but it's more practical for it to lift up instead of go down. So I started on it, and I may have to make some changes, but the way I'm doing it, I'm actually using a couple of drawer slides to raise up one side of the pass-through and then flip it so that it'll clear the track, because this is always a problem when you're going upward, is, track clearance where the tracks meet. So on the other side, that's not a problem because it drops down on top of it or beside it, whatever, and you have no issues. But on the other side, the track is going to stick out somewhat, and it has to go somewhere. So the smartest thing to do would be have it so I could lift it up and then tilt it over, and then I would have all the clearance I need. So what I did discover early on is I need to lock down the slides so that they work together instead of independently, because what happens now is when you're lifting it, it can go like this and actually tilt the table. So I'm going to have to put a cross brace in there to lock it so that it comes up straight every time. I may have to put another piece of wood in there because I think I'm a little bit short. I need to I'll put a longer piece of wood in there, and of course longer piece of foam, and then lay my track on top of that. And as soon as I get that going, we're going to get some freight trains running. Excuse me. I have 3 freight lines. 3 freight main lines, I should say. And I really haven't had a chance to try them out yet. So, of course, I'll run my track cleaner. And the track cleaner is... And I also put those 118s on the track cleaner because they have the same problem. I was pulling the track cleaning car. What was happening was they would separate in certain areas. I can't have that. So, basically, I changed out the couplers. I eliminated that problem. Now they stay together. And it works great. And I think I already covered the track cleaning car and the engine that pulls it. The track cleaning car I purchased, it's just your basic track cleaning car with a dry pad underneath. But the engine that pulls it is battery operated. I use a rechargeable battery in it, so it doesn't rely on track power, so I won't have to worry about it stalling out and, bad track system, whatever. It's going to go no matter what. And if anybody's interested in that engine, I will either show you how I did it or I will sell you one if that's what you want to do, but they're very easy to make, so there's really no point in trying to sell it. It's, a little bit of cutting and soldering, and you pretty well got it licked. And I'll tell you, this one that I bought from Walthers, I think I paid, it was $39 for the engine, just a basic DC engine, locomotive, and it does the job. So if anybody's interested in that and they really want to, I'm pretty sure I did a video on it, but if I didn't, I will be more than happy to either do another video on it or send you the plans to change it out. It's pretty self-explanatory, but trust me, this is the way to go if and I imagine you could do it in N scale, although I never tried because I have HO scale, but for HO scale, it's perfect. And if you wanted to go O scale, I imagine you could do the same thing and actually use a bigger battery. So, see, that's about it for now, really. I'm going to continue doing the conversion on the couplers. I have all these rail cars here, and there's some bunch over there. I'm actually up to 51 rail cars and engines. I think I have 7 engines and the rest are rail cars. I'm going to keep buying more because I feel that I need a lot more than what I've got. Some of these cars are probably going to be static cars. They'll just sit in one place. Where other ones will actually, serve a purpose. And I haven't even thought about, doing a session yet. I think that's down the road too. First I want to get everything running and don't worry about actually doing, sessions and, well, it's all it's entailed with it. But for right now, and I still have a lot to do. I don't have any of my switches, my turnout switches hooked up yet. That's a big job, and I'm probably going to have to get my wife to help me with it because I just can't get underneath the benches anymore. She can, and it wouldn't be that hard for me to show her what to do and how to do it. Same with my turntable. Now, the good news is they shipped out my engine shed from Prose's over in England, and I'm supposed to have it, I believe, Monday. And I may actually do a video on because it has to be assembled and probably painted and whatever. So I may do a video on the building of that. I'm not sure yet. Now that thing was pretty expensive. And I got it at the pre-order price, and with shipping and all, it was $168. Very expensive for a 2-bay engine shed, but it has lighting, it has electric doors that go up and down. That's, uses a remote for it. You can't go wrong. It's really cool. And even though it's pretty expensive, and it's going to be more so, it'll probably be $50 more on top of that now that they're not doing the pre-orders anymore. But if you're really serious about a cool engine shed, that's the way to go. So when I get that, I think I'll do a video on the assembly of it, painting and whatever. And as soon as that's in place, I can go ahead and I've still got to get power to all these other tracks off the turntable, and actually the turntable too. I have power to the turntable, but not for the track on it. So I'll get that all sorted out at some point. As soon as I get the engine shed put down, I'll probably do all that. And we're just getting one step closer to, operations, right? So, hey, there's a ton of stuff to do, and, I got to take it slow because I'm still not back to my normal self, whatever that is. I'm pretty sure I will be at some point, at least I hope. But I've been through a lot, and they say it could take a month or even several months to fully recover from it, which is fine. I can deal with it. So I'm going to be working a little slower here, and the videos may come out sporadically. I wish I could do a weekly video, but I just don't see that. So anyway, that's where we're at. And I want to thank everybody that wished me well, prayed for me, whatever. It's a great thing. And I want to wish everybody else well, and may God look over them all the time. Oh, and another thing. I'm going to try and make Strasbourg in May. Don't know if I can or not, but I'm damn sure going to try. So, because we also have I have to make it up to Indiana to see my mother, my sister, and my brother. And maybe we can actually combine the two. I want to do everything by train. I'll take a train from Orlando, Florida, hopefully to Strasbourg, and then hopefully to Indiana. Now, if I play this out right, I might be able to pull off both. That's the plan anyway. And if I do make it to Strasbourg, I can't wait to meet everybody. Even though I don't really know any of you guys, I feel like you're all my friends. And I'm looking forward to meeting you and your wives, girlfriends, whatever. So, all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. So as always, keep it on the rails and stay tuned for the next edition of Millennium County. And I'm Jim Tedesco, and we'll meet again real soon. So we'll see ya. Bye.